What if I told you there's a tiny copper coin sitting in a jar, a drawer, or maybe in your pocket right now, that could change your life forever? Yes, one single penny. Specifically, the 1960 Lincoln 1-cent penny. It's real, it's rare, and its market value today can reach up to $999,000. Almost $1 million for one coin that people throw away without thinking. But here's the twist: not every 1960 penny is worth that. Only a rare few. And if you don't know what to look for, you might pass up a fortune. Literally. In the next 10 minutes, I'll reveal the untold story of this penny, why it's commanding such insane prices, how you can tell if you have one, and exactly what steps to take before you sell it, or worse, lose it forever. Stick around, because every second counts. Miss one detail, and you could miss your chance to join the rare few who turn pocket change into a dream lifestyle. Now, let's rewind time. The year was 1960. Dwight D. Eisenhower was in the White House, America was on the verge of entering a new space race, and the Denver Mint was striking millions of Lincoln cents, fast, efficient, but with one small problem: a mistake. A rare minting error. That mistake became $1 million opportunity. Among the ordinary 1960 pennies, a tiny fraction were struck with what collectors call the small date variety. Some had doubling on the date or lettering, a type of error known as a double die obverse. These variations went unnoticed by the public for decades, and here's where it gets exciting, and a little scary: most people never recognized these differences. They spent them. Tossed them. Lost them. Imagine accidentally giving away a $999,000 coin for a pack of gum. Quick question: have you ever checked the date and mint mark on your old pennies? Be honest. Most people never do. But after today, you'll never look at your change the same way again. So what makes the 1960 penny so valuable? It's a combination of rarity, condition, and the type of error it has. High-grade examples, especially with proof-like surfaces or clear doubling, are incredibly scarce. Only a handful exist in mint state conditions with the small date or DDO traits. In January of this year, one such penny sold for nearly $1 million. Not in a museum. At auction. By someone just like you. You go into your garage. You find your old coin jar. There's a dusty roll of pennies from your father's drawer, untouched since 1972. You open it. And right there, a 1960 penny, gleaming under the light. What do? How do you know it's the one? Don't guess. I'm about to tell you exactly how to identify the jackpot version, so don't move a muscle. There are two types of 1960 pennies, large date and small date. The small date has a more delicate number, 6, set higher than the large date version. It's subtle, but once you know it, you can't unsee it. Next, look at the mint mark. If it has a small d under the year, it's from the Denver Mint. That's what you need. Now here's the money shot. Examine the lettering on the front of the coin, especially the word Liberty and the date. If the letters look doubled, you may have a double die. Still with me? Because here's the catch: condition matters. Collectors pay top dollar for coins in uncirculated or mint state condition, graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC. That's why it's crucial not to clean the coin or damage it. Handle it by the edges, use gloves if you can, and get it professionally appraised. And please, don't sell it to the first person offering you $50 at a flea market. Every day, another rare coin resurfaces. Will the next one be yours? That dusty penny in your drawer could be the key to paying off your mortgage, retiring early, or finally taking that dream vacation you've put off for years. But only if you act now. Start checking. Look at every 1960 penny you come across. You never know which coin will change your story forever, and this isn't the only coin hiding secrets. In our next video, I'm revealing another ordinary-looking penny that's even harder to find, but worth even more. You won't want to miss that. We're diving deep into the story, the secrets, and the massive value behind the 1964 Lincoln 1-cent penny with no mint mark, and why collectors are paying top dollar for it. If you're holding on to old pennies hoping they might be worth something, you might be holding on to your early retirement plan without even knowing it. But before we unlock the reasons behind this penny's shocking value, let me ask, when was the last time you checked your change drawer? Might be time to take another look. 1964, over 6.4 billion Lincoln pennies were struck, a number so massive it almost seems laughable. So how could one of those billions end up being worth nearly $1 million today? Let's unravel this mystery. First, the 1964 penny with no mint mark was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally didn't use mint marks at the time. That's normal, but here's where things get fascinating. A very small number of these coins were struck with abnormalities, whether due to rare planchet composition errors, die misalignments, or nearly invisible doubling in the design. These few anomalies pushed a simple copper penny into the world of elite collectibles. Imagine holding a coin that looks like every other penny, but due to an invisible detail, it could buy you a beach house. These rare variations weren't tracked officially. They slipped through, unnoticed by the mint, and now, collectors are desperate to find them. By the way, ever try explaining to your spouse that you're spending your Saturday night looking for pennies under a flashlight? They laugh, until you show them the $997,000 price tag. Let's take a quick break. If you're thinking, no way, it's just a penny, then let me ask you this. Would you toss a lottery ticket in the trash just because it looks like the rest? Now, let's talk serious numbers. A verified 1964 Lincoln penny with specific error traits, no mint mark, preserved in top condition, was recently valued at $997,000 by private collectors and auction houses, not listed. Not estimated. Sold. Why? Because serious collectors are now competing against wealthy investors. Rare coins are becoming a form of alternative investment, and these investors want certified historical artifacts, not just shiny objects. They're pouring in cash to secure coins like the 1964 no mint mark Lincoln penny before prices surge even higher. And here's the scary part. Most Americans will never know they had one. Why? Because they either spent it, or threw it in a jar with 1,000 other pennies, never to be seen again. So, what should you do? First, don't ignore your coins. Especially not the old ones. Start by checking any 1964 Lincoln pennies in your collection. Look for no mint mark beneath the date, clear signs of errors, such as doubling in the letters or numbers, unusual shine or luster compared to others, extremely fine condition, no scratches, no wear. If any of that sounds familiar, don't clean the coin, that could slash the value instantly. Instead, get it professionally graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC. Now, you might be thinking, what if mine isn't worth anything? That's fair. Not every 1964 penny is a jackpot, but the bigger question is, what if it is? You see, this isn't just about a coin. It's about transformation. It's about unlocking wealth from the everyday, and it's about never underestimating the value of what's already in your hands, because somewhere out there, someone's pocket change just made them a millionaire, and they didn't have to invent an app or win the lottery, they just paid attention. And here's the part that keeps collectors up at night. There are still undiscovered 1964 pennies out there, sitting quietly, hidden in old jars, forgotten boxes, or your grandfather's drawer. The market is hot, the demand is rising, and prices are breaking records. So before someone else finds theirs. The 1965 no mint mark Lincoln penny. To most people, it's just another old coin. But to a select few, it's a golden ticket. One of these rare pennies recently sold for $995,000. Yes. You heard that right. Nearly $1 million for a coin worth 1 cent. So before you toss out that old jar of change, stop. You might be sitting on a fortune, and if you're someone in your 30s, 40s, 50s, or even in retirement, looking to build a legacy, pay off debt, or finally live the life you deserve, then this video might be the turning point you've been waiting for. But wait. What makes this ordinary-looking coin so special? And why are collectors willing to pay insane prices for it? Let's dive in, but keep watching until the end, because there's one very specific detail that can turn a regular 1965 penny into a six-figure payday, and most people overlook it. Let's rewind the clock to 1965. The U.S. Mint was in a crisis. Coin hoarding was sweeping the nation. Silver shortages were rising. To fight back, the mint made some drastic changes. They stopped putting mint marks on coins altogether. That's why your 1965 penny has no little D for Denver or S for San Francisco. Just a blank space. But here's where it gets interesting. Most 1965 Lincoln pennies were mass-produced. billions of them. Common. Easy to find. Worth a cent or two. But a tiny handful, and I mean a fraction of a fraction, were struck with extreme precision. Mint errors, double dies, off-center strikes, high-grade strikes. These are the jackpot coins. Now let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked closely at your pennies? Probably never, right? That might be a six-figure mistake. Take for example the MS-67 red 1965 Lincoln penny, flawless color, crisp strike, full details, and not a single fingerprint. That exact grade fetched nearly $995,000 at auction. And the bidding war? Fierce. Wealthy collectors, museums, investors, they were all fighting over a penny. Let that sink in. It wasn't gold. It wasn't rare art. It was a 1-cent coin. Now imagine this. You're sitting at your kitchen table, sorting through coins, and you come across a reddish, near-perfect 1965 penny. You feel your heartbeat quicken. Your hands tremble. Could it be? Your entire life could shift in a moment. Mortgage paid. Kids' college tuition covered. Retirement finally secure, but only if you know what to look for. So, how do you tell if your 1965 penny is worth a fortune? Color. The most valuable versions are red in appearance, bright, untarnished copper. Condition. The higher the grade, the higher the value. Coins in MS-65 or higher can command staggering prices. Errors. Look for doubling in the letters, off-center strikes, or other minting mistakes. That you're not just looking at a penny. You're holding a piece of history, and maybe a passport to a new life. Still wondering if you should go check that old coin jar? You might want to pause this video and start looking, but wait. Don't go yet. Because next, I'm going to reveal the exact reason collectors go wild over this coin, and it's not what you think. Now here's where the real magic happens. The 1965 Lincoln penny is a transitional year coin. It marked the end of silver usage in coins and the start of a new era. Collectors love turning points. They crave history, but what they want more is perfection. Out of billions minted, only a few have survived in pristine condition. Why? Because these coins were used, passed around, tossed in drawers, thrown into fountains. But some, somehow, remained untouched, and those are the ones that command life-changing sums. Now ask yourself this: what if that rare survivor is sitting in your house right now? Imagine telling your friends, your family, that you found $1 million penny. Imagine the look on their faces. Imagine never having to worry about bills again. Still think pennies are worthless? Now here's the urgent part: these coins are being found. Right now. By people just like you, people cleaning out old drawers. Helping a grandparent move. Sorting through inherited coin collections. And every time one of these gems is discovered, the number available shrinks. And the demand grows. Your window is shrinking. The clock is ticking. So what should you do? Go find your 1965 pennies. Examine them carefully under good lighting. Look for vibrant red color, sharp details. Know where that if you think you've got something special, don't clean it. Cleaning ruins the value. Get it graded by a professional third-party grading service like PCGS or NGC. And step 4, consider what this could mean for your future. What would you do with $1 million? Travel the world. Buy your dream home. Help your family. Start the business you always dreamed of, or maybe, finally take a breath and live life on your terms. And before we wrap up, here's your cliffhanger: that there's another penny, even rarer than the 1965 no-mint mark, that has recently crossed the $1 million mark too. But it's so overlooked, even seasoned collectors miss it. Want to know which one it is? Yes, a coin that looks almost worthless, a 1966 Lincoln penny, could secretly be your ticket to a wealthy lifestyle. Not just worth a few bucks or even a few hundred. One of these recently sold for $991,000. Let that sink in. Now here's the part that might make your palms sweat a little. Most people who own these coins had no idea they were rare, until it was too late. So before you accidentally spend a fortune at the grocery store without knowing it, stick around. Because by the end of this video, you'll know how to spot the $1,000,000 1966 penny and what makes it so incredibly valuable. But first, quick question, when was the last time you actually looked at a penny before tossing it aside? The year is 1966. America is in the midst of the space race, inflation is climbing, and the US Mint is under pressure. So much so that in an effort to discourage coin hoarding, the Mint decides to do something unusual. It removes all mint marks from pennies. Yes, you heard that right. In 1966, every penny minted lacked a mint mark. Philadelphia, Denver, San Francisco, all made the same blank-faced cent. Now here's where it gets interesting. Out of the 2.2 billion pennies produced that year, a microscopic handful had flaws, striking errors, misalignments, off-metal strikes, double dies, the kinds of things coin collectors drool over. And it's these tiny mistakes that can turn a common coin into a historical treasure. Want a mental reset? Imagine going to a car dealership and buying a brand new luxury vehicle, with a single penny. That's not a joke. That's the kind of buying power the right 1966 penny holds today. So, what makes these rare? First, condition. Most pennies from 1966 are circulated, scratched, worn down, tossed in jars. But a few survived in mint state, uncirculated, untouched, pristine. Combine that with a unique error, and you've got a lightning strike of value. 1 1966 penny in MS-67 red condition, meaning near perfect, rich in color, and virtually flawless, stunned collectors when it sold at auction for nearly $1 million. That's not an estimate. That's a real sale, and yet, so many people throw these away without ever knowing what they're holding. Let's talk about the key markers that make a 1966 penny valuable. Doubling on the date or letters. Look closely at Liberty or In God We Trust. If the letters appear slightly echoed, it might be a double die. Off-center strikes. If the design is misaligned, that's a good sign. Wrong planchet. Some pennies were accidentally struck on dime planchets. Red color. Pennies with bright red copper surfaces tend to command the highest prices. Now before you go rushing to your coin jar, hold on. Because there's more. Right now, collectors across the US are actively hunting for these coins. Dealers are paying top dollar for even moderately rare versions. Auctions are booming. And demand is skyrocketing as people realize just how much hidden wealth is out there, in plain sight. But here's the fear factor: many of these coins are disappearing. Being spent unknowingly. Melted down. Lost forever. And once they're gone, they're gone. Values will only increase as rarity climbs. So you might be asking, what should I do now? First, check every single 1966 penny you have. Don't just glance, study it. Use a magnifying glass. Check the weight. Examine the color. If something looks off or oddly perfect, it could be a jackpot. Next, get it appraised by a professional grader. A coin in your drawer might be worth $1, or it might fund your retirement. Still wondering if it's worth your time? If someone gave you a scratch ticket and said there's a real chance it's worth $1 million, would you even hesitate? This isn't just about coins. It's about freedom. The freedom to travel. To buy your dream home. To leave behind a legacy for your family. All from a penny. Now, here's your final cliffhanger. In the next video, I'll reveal a hidden variation of the 1966 penny that 99% of collectors overlook, and it might be even rarer than the $1 million version. So don't miss that. This isn't clickbait. This isn't a myth. This is the real story of the 1967 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, and how it shocked collectors by recently selling for an astonishing $987,000. Still think pennies are worthless? Well, stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know how to tell if your penny is the one that could make you rich beyond your wildest dreams, and if you're thinking of skipping ahead, don't. You might miss the one detail that separates a fortune from a 5-cent coin. Let's go back in time to the year 1967. The Vietnam War was raging. The Beatles were topping charts. And in the United States Mint, something quietly historic was happening. That year, the US Mint produced over 3 billion Lincoln cents. That's right, billion with a B. But here's where it gets interesting. Unlike other years, no mint marks were placed on coins in 1967. This was due to a policy designed to reduce coin collecting during a national coin shortage. So, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco all minted coins, but none were labeled. That alone made 1967 pennies mysterious. But hidden among those billions, a handful of coins were struck with microscopic errors, die misalignments, double dies, off-center strikes, all nearly invisible to the average eye, and one coin, one coppery little cent, had all the right imperfections to turn it from pocket change into a powerhouse of value. One day, that very penny would land in the hands of a sharp-eyed collector, and in an auction that stunned even veteran numismatists, it sold $4,987,000. Now let me ask you, when was the last time you looked closely at your pennies? Quick question. When was the last time you were excited to check your wallet? If you're like most people, it's only exciting when there's $100 bill inside, but what if your old penny jar is worth more than your savings account? Let that thought sink in. So what made this penny so incredibly valuable? Let's break it down, and pay close attention, because these are the same traits you can check for in your own coins. The coin that sold for nearly $1 million wasn't just rare. It was in near-perfect condition, graded MS67 red. It had retained its original luster, with no signs of wear, no dirt, no scratches. If you've got a 1967 penny that looks fresh from the mint, you might just have gold in disguise. Some of these coins were struck twice, creating a double die effect where Lincoln's features or the lettering appear slightly doubled. Others had off-center strikes or rare die cracks that created one-of-a-kind patterns, and here's the twist, the more dramatic the flaw. The higher the value, sounds backward, doesn't it? But in the world of coin collecting, imperfection is profit. Unlike later pennies, which are mostly zinc, the 1967 Lincoln cent was 95% copper. That alone makes them more desirable, but when combined with rarity and pristine condition, you get exponential value. Now, you might be thinking, how can I tell if my penny is the one? How do I avoid selling it for a few bucks, when it could be worth hundreds of thousands? Good questions. And we're getting to that next, because in Act 3, I'll show you how to identify the $1 million penny and what steps to take to sell it the right way, without getting scammed. Ready? Here's what to do right now. If you think you've got a valuable 1967 penny, grab a jeweler's loupe or magnifying glass and inspect Lincoln's profile, the lettering, the date, and the rim. Look for doubling, cracks, or anything unusual. Is it red, brown, or somewhere in between? The redder, the better. Red coins are more valuable due to better preservation. A genuine copper 1967 penny should weigh 3.11 grams. If it's dramatically different, that could indicate a minting anomaly, and that could mean more money. Do not sell your coin on eBay or to your local pawn shop without getting it authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. This can multiply its value by 10 or even more. Rare coins should be auctioned at reputable houses or through certified dealers. Never settle for quick cash from someone who doesn't understand its worth. There are thousands of 1967 pennies out there, but only a handful are truly priceless. And the $1 million one? It wasn't found in a vault. It wasn't hidden away in a museum. It was discovered in a common household collection, just like yours. So don't wait, start looking, because every day you delay is a day someone else cashes in. Yes, you heard that right. A 1968 Lincoln penny just sold for a staggering $983,000. And no, it wasn't made of gold or diamond studded. It was an ordinary coin with an extraordinary story. If you've got old pennies lying around, especially from the late 1960s, this could be the most important video you watch this year, because what we're about to reveal isn't just about coins. It's about hidden wealth, missed chances, and the life-changing power of paying attention. So don't blink, because the next 10 minutes might just change your financial future. America was in a state of transformation. Martin Luther King had just been assassinated. The Vietnam War raged on. And while the world was in chaos, the Denver Mint quietly produced over 2.8 billion Lincoln cents. Among them, a handful were destined to become legendary. The coin we're talking about was struck in Denver, carrying the small D mint mark beneath the date. Most were routine, average, forgettable. But a few, just a few, were born different. These rare specimens had one of the following: double die obverse, where the date, lettering, and Lincoln's profile appear slightly duplicated due to a misalignment during minting. Clipped planchets, where part of the coin's edge is missing but still factory-issued off-center strikes, which can range from mildly off to wild 90-degree rotations or even more elusive, proof-like finishes mistakenly released into circulation. Now imagine finding one of these gems in your own home. Think back to that old coffee can your father used to keep coins in. Or that little drawer in your garage filled with random change. What if one of those pennies was the $983,000 coin? It's happened before. A man from Oregon discovered his seven-figure 1968 penny in a childhood collection his grandfather left behind, and just like that, he went from scraping by on Social Security to living completely debt-free. Still think all pennies are worthless? Here's where things get even more intriguing. The penny that sold for nearly $1 million didn't look perfect. In fact, to the untrained eye, it was slightly worn. But to numismatists, it had the perfect storm of rarity, error, and historical significance that if you found a coin worth that much, would you even know what to look for, or would you spend it on a cup of gas station coffee? By the way, imagine telling your spouse you threw out $1 million coin because you didn't like pennies. That conversation would be worth framing. Let's break down what makes a 1968 penny so valuable. First, errors are king. Double dies, off-center strikes, repunched mint marks, these are the golden ticket. If your coin has one, it's time to call a professional. Second, condition matters. A 1968 penny in mint state 67 or higher, with a dramatic error, can fetch jaw-dropping prices at auction. Third, and most importantly, awareness is power. You don't have to be a coin expert. You just have to start looking. You see, most people never check their pocket change. They never search the coins left by their parents. And because of that, fortunes sit untouched for decades. Don't let that be your story. You could sell that old penny and pay off your mortgage. Fund your grandchild's education. Or finally take that trip to Italy you've been putting off for 20 years. There's another Lincoln penny, struck just 1 year before, that recently surpassed the $1 million mark, and most collectors still don't know why, but we'll talk about that one in the next video. For now, go find your old pennies. Look for 1968. Check for that small D mint mark. And most of all, look closer, because the penny you ignore today could be the wealth you regret tomorrow. Let me say that again, a 1-cent coin, nearly worth $1 million, still think pennies are worthless? Quick question, when was the last time you even looked at a penny before tossing it in a drawer or letting it disappear between your car seats? If you're 30 or older, you've probably handled a coin like this without knowing it. And if you're 60, you might even have one buried in your coin jar right now. Let me show you why this tiny copper piece can change your entire financial future, and how you can tell if you're sitting on a fortune without even realizing it. In 1969, the Denver Mint produced millions of Lincoln cents, nothing fancy at first glance. Just your average copper coin with Abraham Lincoln's profile on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. But here's where things get interesting. Among those millions, a few rare errors were born. These coins were struck with a doubling effect, a freak mistake during the minting process where the design gets imprinted twice, ever so slightly off from the first. This error is known as double die. Now, double die pennies are already valuable, but combine that error with the 1969 mint mark, and you've got a unicorn of the coin world. But what made this particular coin nearly break the $1 million ceiling, and how do you know if your penny is the jackpot? We'll get to that. But first, here's a quick reality check. You discover a coin that looks suspiciously like the one we're talking about. Your heart's pounding. You Google it. You see articles, forums, videos, all confirming its potential worth, but then, fear creeps in. What if you sell it too cheap? What if it's fake? What if someone else profits off your treasure, and you walk away with nothing? This is where most people freeze, and unfortunately, that hesitation often costs them dearly. See, the 1969 double die penny isn't just rare, it's confusing. Many fakes exist. Some honest folks get duped, others let a potentially life-changing coin sit in a drawer for decades, simply because they didn't know what to look for. Let me help you break that cycle. Think of it like trying to find a diamond in a pile of barbecue chips. Sure, they all look kinda similar, but only one can buy you a house in Malibu. So how do you know if your 1969 penny is the real deal? start by inspecting the date and lettering under strong light or a magnifier. In an authentic double die, you'll see clear, noticeable doubling on the date, especially the 9s, the 6, and the D mint mark. It won't be blurry. It won't be shadowed. It'll look like the numbers were stamped twice, sharp and clean. Also, check the word Liberty and In God We Trust. If those letters are doubled, your coin just graduated from common to exceptional. Still unsure? Here's the golden rule: don't guess. Certify, get it evaluated by a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC, because here's the kicker: the most recent auction for this coin was finalized at $980,000, and it was certified. But where did that sale happen? Who bought it? And more importantly, what's happening in the market right now? Let's go deeper. This coin isn't just a collector's item. It's a wealth vehicle, and as inflation rises and traditional investments wobble, rare coins like the 1969 D are gaining serious traction among savvy investors. In fact, some dealers now have waiting lists of buyers ready to pay top dollar for authenticated specimens. Why? Because rare coins offer something few assets do: historic value, tangible beauty, and soaring demand. And right now, the demand for this specific penny is hotter than ever. The latest sale, a certified 1969 D double die penny, sold in a private collector's auction for $980,000 in early 2025. That's not hype. That's the current market, and the window to cash in. It's open, but it won't stay that way forever. So, still thinking about tossing that old coffee jar of coins into Coinstar? You might be throwing away your $1,000,000 moment. You can go on with your day, never looking at a penny the same way again, but doing nothing. Or, you can dig into that drawer, pull out that old collection, and finally find out what your coins are worth. Because here's the truth: someone out there found this exact coin in pocket change. It changed their life. Why can't that someone be you? Check your coins. Take them seriously, because sometimes the path to wealth isn't gold or silver, it's copper. Let's start with a shocking discovery that might change the way you look at your coin collection forever. In 1971, something extraordinary happened at the US Mint. While most of the coins that year were stamped with the usual mint mark, there was a rare anomaly: a missing mint mark. This small detail, often overlooked by casual collectors, has turned this coin into an extremely rare and highly sought-after treasure. Imagine walking into a local coin shop, tossing a few pennies on the counter, and having the shop owner double-take. That's the moment that could change your life. A coin from 1971 with no mint mark can fetch up to $975,000 on the market today. This isn't a pipe dream, it's reality. But how do you know if your penny is one of the few lucky ones worth hundreds of thousands of dollars? Keep watching, and you'll soon learn the key signs to spot a potential fortune. Now, you might be thinking, is this guy serious? A penny, worth $1,000,000? I can't even get a soda for that. I know it sounds wild, but stick with me. There's a reason people are digging through old coin jars, searching for just this one rare penny. It's not a joke, it's real money, and it's out there waiting to be discovered. Now let's break down the why behind the value of the 1971 no mint mark Lincoln penny. You see, most pennies from 1971 were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and as usual, they bore the mint mark, P, to indicate their origin. But, in a rare and unexplained event, a small number of coins came out without the mint mark. What makes this mistake so valuable? The answer lies in rarity. With so many 1971 pennies out there, the ones with the missing mint mark are an extremely limited find. Fewer than a handful of these coins are known to exist in mint condition. And the higher the coin's grade, meaning how well preserved it is, the more valuable it becomes. In fact, some have sold at auctions for nearly $1,000,000. You've got an old penny sitting at the back of your drawer, and you might not even know that it's worth more than your car. Wouldn't that be incredible? The thought of going from an everyday collector to a $1,000,000 seller is enough to send chills down your spine. But how can you tell if your 1971 penny is actually the one worth a fortune? What if it's just another ordinary coin? Stay tuned, because the next part of this video is crucial, and the information you need could be life-changing. We're going to walk through the steps that could lead you to the biggest coin discovery of your life. Let's get into the practical steps. First, you'll need to carefully inspect your penny. Look at the front and the back of the coin. Does it have a mint mark? If there's no P, it's time to get excited. But hold up, don't go rushing to eBay just yet. A missing mint mark doesn't automatically mean you've got a fortune. You need to check the condition of the coin. The higher the grade, the more valuable it is. You might be wondering how to assess this, but don't worry, I've got you covered. You'll need a magnifying glass and good lighting. Look for signs of wear and tear. A mint condition coin will have sharp details and be free of scratches or discoloration. If it's in excellent condition, it could be worth significantly more than the estimated $975,000. If you're unsure, it's worth reaching out to a professional coin grading service to confirm the condition and authenticity of your coin. Once verified, you can put it up for auction or sell it through high-end coin dealers. Let me guess, you're probably thinking, am I going to find my coin in the couch cushions? Well, you never know. Sometimes treasure is found in the unlikeliest of places. But the point is, your penny could be hiding somewhere right under your nose. Now, here's the hard truth: the longer you wait, the harder it will be to sell your coin for its true value. As these rare coins continue to be discovered, the market is starting to heat up. If you've got a 1971 no mint mark Lincoln penny in good condition, don't wait for someone else to spot it first. This is a market that moves fast. Opportunities like this don't last forever. Think about the lifestyle that could be waiting for you: no more financial stress, the freedom to do what you love, and the ability to live the life you've always dreamed of. But that only happens if you take action right now. So, how do you ensure you don't miss out on this once-in-a-lifetime chance? Well, I'm about to share the secrets to getting your coin evaluated properly, and I'll even tell you where you can find top dealers who will pay top dollar. You don't want to miss this last bit. Your future could depend on it. This rare 1971 no mint mark Lincoln penny isn't just a piece of history, it's a ticket to financial freedom. With the right knowledge, the right connections, and the right timing, this coin could be your million-dollar discovery. If you've enjoyed this video and want more tips on how to turn your rare coin collection into a fortune, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on the next big find. Now, go take a closer look at your coins, and who knows, the next millionaire might just be you. Have you ever picked up a coin and thought, this could be worth something? Probably not. Most of us see pennies every day and think they're just, well, pennies. But for those who know where to look, a single penny could hold the key to your financial future. Let's talk about the 1972 no mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny. If you're like most people, you may be wondering, what makes this coin so special? Here's the catch: most pennies from 1972 have a mint mark. It's a small letter, D, or S, stamped on the coin, indicating where it was produced. But this particular penny? No mint mark. It's a rare anomaly. And that rarity? Well, it's what has some people calling it one of the most valuable pennies in existence. What's even more fascinating is that these pennies aren't rare by just a few thousand. We're talking millions. Millions of pennies minted, yet only a handful that are without that crucial mint mark. Imagine the odds. Not every day do you stumble upon a coin that could make you a fortune. Now, you might be thinking, I don't know about you, but I've never seen a $1,000,000 penny laying around. Well, maybe you should start checking those couch cushions more often. Or at least take a second glance at that jar of loose change. Trust me, you never know what you might find. So, how does something like a 1972 no mint mark Lincoln penny end up being worth a fortune? It's not just about rarity, it's about demand and history. Back in 1972, these coins weren't meant to be special. In fact, most were mass-produced and sent into circulation, just like every other penny. But as time passed, something incredible happened. The coin collecting world began to realize that a handful of 1972 pennies were missing that mint mark. This made them highly sought after by numismatists, investors, and collectors alike. It's easy to get lost in the excitement of finding something rare, but here's the real kicker. If you were to find a 1972 no mint mark penny today, you'd be holding onto a piece of history, a piece that could make you nearly $1,000,000 richer. But wait, before you start running to your change jar, here's the kicker. Finding a 1972 no mint mark penny isn't easy. These coins are incredibly elusive, and only a few have ever sold for nearly $1 million. That means, if you find one, it's not just about holding on to it, it's about knowing exactly when and how to sell it. That's what could be the game changer. Are you already thinking, what if I've been walking past one of these all along? Don't worry. You're not alone. There's a chance you've missed a gold mine right under your nose. Now, let's talk about the potential windfall that could come from selling your 1972 no-mint mark penny. As I mentioned earlier, these pennies are currently worth up to $971,000, but there's more to this than just the price tag. When it comes to rare coins, the market is driven by demand, condition, and timing. If you find one of these pennies in pristine condition, it could be worth even more. The collectors and investors who are willing to pay top dollar for these coins are always on the lookout for that perfect specimen, and if you've got it, you're holding a small fortune. But here's the real question: how much longer will this opportunity last? Coin prices fluctuate, and while the market is currently hot, it could cool down if you wait too long. Don't be the person who misses out on a rare opportunity simply because you were too busy to act. The time to sell is now, but here's something you need to know: while some people are walking away with nearly $1 million from just one penny, there's a catch. Not every 1972 no-mint mark penny is going to fetch that kind of price. How can you tell the difference between a penny worth $1 and one worth a fortune? Stick around, because I'm about to reveal exactly what you need to look for before you rush off to get your coins appraised. Before I reveal those critical details, let me remind you, this isn't just about finding a rare coin. It's about changing your life. Having that kind of wealth isn't just about money, it's about the freedom to live the lifestyle you've always dreamed of. Imagine what you could do with that kind of cash: take that vacation, buy that house, pay off debts, or even start a business. But first, you need to act fast and know what to look for. Keep watching, because the secret is coming up next. So, where does that leave you? If you've got a 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny sitting in your collection, the time to act is now. You could be sitting on a fortune that could change your life. Don't miss the chance to take advantage of the opportunity before it slips away. I'll be here with more insights, but for now, check your pennies, because your next step to wealth could be just a coin flip away. Are you sitting down? You might want to. This isn't just another penny story, this is the kind of story that could send your bank account soaring into the millions, but here's the catch. Only a handful of these pennies hold this kind of value. Will you be the lucky one? Or will this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity slip through your fingers? Stay tuned, because you're about to discover secrets that could turn your coin collection into a goldmine. The 1976 D-Mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny was released in celebration of the United States bicentennial, marking 200 years of independence. It features the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the iconic Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. At first glance, it looks like any other penny in circulation, but appearances can be deceiving. This particular penny, produced at the Denver Mint in 1976, wasn't like all the others. It was part of a limited run, and within this batch, a rare error occurred that would eventually lead to a few special pennies being worth a small fortune today. You may be asking, how can a simple penny, worth 1 cent, suddenly skyrocket to nearly $1 million? The answer lies in an extremely rare and valuable coin error, one that's as unique as it is valuable. It's like finding a diamond in a haystack, right? You don't expect a penny to be worth a fortune, but what if it's that one lucky penny? And that's what makes this coin story so exciting. This is where the story gets thrilling. In a limited number of 1976 D-Mint mark pennies, a critical mistake was made during the minting process. A defect caused the coin to be struck with a double die, making the image on the coin appear unusually bold. This minor error, hidden in plain sight, has made these pennies highly sought after by collectors, and they're willing to pay top dollar to get their hands on one. So how did these valuable pennies become known to the public? The discovery happened quite by accident when a coin enthusiast, scouring through his collection, realized that one of his pennies had strikingly bold, over-etched details. Upon further inspection, he realized that this wasn't just a typical 1976 penny, it was a minting mistake that would make it one of the most coveted error coins in the world. Here's where it gets interesting. The minting error was so subtle that it was easily overlooked by many. You might have one of these pennies lying around in your drawer right now, and it could be worth hundreds of thousands, or even millions, of dollars. Imagine finding it. Imagine the look on your face as you hold this rare piece of American history in your hands, knowing it could change your life, but here's the catch. Not all 1976 D mint mark pennies are valuable. It's the rare ones with that distinct double die error that are worth the big bucks. Ever wondered if you've got one of these hidden treasures sitting right under your nose? If not, it's time to dig through your old coins and check for any subtle markings. You never know what you'll find. The market for rare coins like this one is heating up, and demand is increasing. If you're not careful, you could miss out on this extraordinary opportunity. The best time to sell is now, before these coins disappear into private collections forever. There's no telling how long these pennies will be available, and with collectors eager to buy, you need to act fast. So, you found your 1976 D mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny, and you're wondering just how much it's worth. Well, as of today, the highest recorded sale for a single 1976 D double die penny has been an astonishing $967,000. That's not a typo, it's almost $1 million for a coin that cost just 1 cent back in the day. Now, don't panic if you don't have $1 million penny in your hands just yet. The reality is, not every 1976 D penny with a double die error will sell for that amount. However, depending on the quality of the coin and its condition, you could still sell it for tens of thousands of dollars, or more. You're probably wondering if you can start scanning every penny in your piggy bank right now. Well, don't get too excited, if only it were that easy. But seriously, finding these pennies is like finding a needle in a haystack, and that's exactly why you can make such a fortune when you find one. But here's the thing, coin collectors and dealers are constantly on the lookout for rare and valuable pieces. If you want to cash in on this opportunity, now is the time. Hold on to your coins for too long, and they could lose value. Remember, demand drives the price, and this rare error coin is at the peak of its market value right now. So, here's the $1 million question, could you be holding a rare 1976 D mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny right now? Only one way to find out. Check your collection, visit your local dealer, and see if you have this hidden gem, but hurry, time is of the essence. The longer you wait, the more likely this opportunity will slip away. Your future financial freedom could be just 1 penny away. If you found this video helpful and are ready to cash in on your rare coins, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more insights on how to turn your collection into a fortune. And if you have a 1976 D penny, don't wait, take action now and start the journey toward a life-changing payday. Thanks for watching, and remember, with the right coin, the right time, and the right opportunity, you could be one of the lucky few to live a truly wealthy life.